You have all probably heard of Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and Martin Luther King.
I have a dream.
But have you heard of Daisy Bates? If you haven't, you should, because they're among the U.S. civil rights activists worth knowing about. And here's why. Daisy Bates. Stone this time, Dynamite Next read a note tied to a stone that broke a window in Daisy Bates' home.
Motivated by the violence of her own mother's rape and murder, and determined to make a change in the way America viewed race, Daisy Gatson Bates became a revolutionary civil rights activist and leader, making a significant difference in our state. Daisy grew up in the small town of Huttig, Arkansas. She was adopted by Oralee and Susie Smith when she was just 7 years old, after her mother's rape and murder by 3 men. Those men were never prosecuted, and this sparked a fire in Daisy that filled her with hate. Her father gave her some advice that would later encourage her to be a leader for change. He said, "Hate can destroy you, Daisy. If you hate, make it count for something. Try to do something about it, or your hate won't spell a thing." Her first chance to do something was in 1941, when she and her husband, Elsie Bates, started their own newspaper called the Arkansas State Press. The paper centered around equal rights for all and became a voice for the African American community. Her influence on the equal rights movement earned her the title of president of the NAACP in 1952. It was during that time that Daisy put her focus on fighting for the same quality of education for all races.
Daisy Bates!
An activist who fought for an end to segregation on buses, in libraries, and public schools. In 1954, when the Supreme Court called for an end to racially segregated schools, her most remarkable effort was to integrate black pupils into an all-white school in Little Rock, Arkansas. Bates recruited 9 black kids, ready to face potential racism, insults, and attacks, to be the first group of black children to attend all-white Central High.
What about you, sir? Do you think the colored students would show up?
If I got anything to do with it, they won't show up. Well, I think it's a breaking point of the school integration. I just don't feel that they have a right to go to school with them.
It is easy to believe today that we are an enlightened society, free from problems of race, gender, or economic separation. But some of the most difficult lessons we learn are a result of individuals who push us through these divisive barriers. In September of 1957, 9 black school children, the eldest only 17, forced us through such a blockade. They sought a better education for themselves and the opportunity to pursue the American dream.
This is Central High School, Little Rock, Arkansas. Troops, which for nearly 3 weeks lined the sidewalk here in front of the high school, under orders to keep the colored students out, have been replaced now. And their orders to comply with the law, which means let the Negro students in if they come in.
We were Terrence Roberts, Jefferson Thomas, Thelma Mothershed, Elizabeth Eckford, Ernest Green, Carlotta Walls, Melba Patillo, Minnie Jean Brown, and Gloria Ray.
They became known as the Little Rock Nine. The 1954 Supreme Court ruling on Brown versus the Board of Education found segregation of schools unconstitutional. But as the Little Rock Nine approached the high school, segregationists swarmed the campus.
You got no business out here. This is our school, not theirs. They have their own.
As the violence escalated, one schoolgirl, Elizabeth Eckford, was threatened by an angry mob chanting, "Lynch her, lynch her." President Dwight Eisenhower intervened in Little Rock and set a precedent for our nation as a whole.
Such an extreme situation has been created in Little Rock. This challenge must be met, and with such measures as will preserve to the people as a whole their lawfully protected rights in a climate permitting their free and fair exercise. In the present case, the troops are there pursuant to law, solely for the purpose of preventing interference with the orders of the court.
On September 25, 1957, the 101st Airborne Division and 10,000 National Guard troops escorted the Little Rock Nine as they walked bravely past screaming mobs and made their way to the classrooms of Little Rock Central High School.
Just got a report here on this end that the students are in.
You feel it's worth it going through this?
Yes, I do.
These 9 heroes were willing to step forward and in doing so altered the course of history. The Little Rock Nine stand not just for racial equality, but also for the promise upon which our society is founded: opportunity and equality for all willing to strive, struggle, and achieve.
When the desegregation crisis of Central High School occurred in 1957, Daisy's dedication to education made her the driving force behind the cause. She guided and advised the 9 students chosen to attend the all-white high school. She used her home as the meeting place for the Little Rock Nine, planning and implementing how desegregation would be carried out. She became president of the parent-teacher organization even though she did not have a child enrolled at the school. She knew she was an advocate for those 9 students, and she knew that her fight was not just for them, but for the entire African-American race.
After several failed attempts to get into the school, and a promise made by Arkansas Governor Orville Faubus that blood will run in the streets if the black students entered, the group known as the Little Rock Nine won, and Central High was integrated.
Even though her home was often a target for those who were against desegregation, she never lost sight of her dream for equality, making her a pivotal figure in the civil rights movement and a fearless heroine.